let a few more.
Yeah, let's let a few more. Oh, 8 are on now, so come on, guys, get on there. Yeah. Oh, 13. The lucky number, look, 13.
Is it 13?
Yeah.
I like them tops, actually.
Yeah, quite good, aren't they?
Well, I actually like the colour as well. It's a good
good, isn't it? It's only shirts I can get because that one with treble extra large. Yeah. This is starting to get tight now. So Bram said you put a lot of weight on lately, Brad. So
yeah, you know why Bram's saying that?
Well, so you can have your shirt, yeah. It's good, lad. 20 on. Come on, guys, get yourself up there.
Can you all hear?
Can you all hear me? Someone put thumbs up or. Yes, thumbs are coming up. Boom, boom, Brian.
Is that a microphone and answer there? Is it, Emma?
Simon Law's good lad. On Harper. Club Jet. The Joke. Kid Child and David Temple. Good evening, guys. Right, I think we'll get on with the show. Hello there, everybody. It's me, Brian Cockerill, on the Taxman Show. We've got my special guest, one of my best friends, if not the best of all time, Kevin Kilty.
Aye.
Thank you very, very much to be back. Yeah.
Saturday night.
My beautiful, just 2 seconds, Kevin, with what I mentioned, my beautiful wife is still the camera work. Yeah. The beautiful Emma.
Yeah, and she's trying to get us involved in alcoholic drinks. Like
yes. I can honestly.
We've declined as yet.
Yes, we've declined, as you can see. Just Coca-Cola. Yeah.
Just to start off with a Canberra, I just want to mention that's asking about all the Scottish people, Irish people, a lot of people from Manchester, Liverpool, London. You know, a lot of them are in the athletics. Well, say to Richard, do you know the Taxman, Brian Cockerill? He said I've known him since I was a kid. Yeah. But anyway, the big mention is to my friend in Scotland who idolise you, Falkirk John. Yeah. Well, he's part of his, the Colmans family, very, very, very close friends. It's Craig Eddy, who won The Voice last week.
Oh, you know The Voice? Right, The Voice,
Oh, great. He's
fantastic.
Well, Craig, well done. He won The Voice last week.
That's brilliant.
And his mum, a dedication, shout out to her, Tracy Eddy, who was there. And obviously, I can only imagine she'll have been in bits as I was when Richard won the World Championship. Yeah. So,
what an achievement
for winning The Voice.
Absolutely brilliant. That's brilliant. Have you heard me singing on our YouTube channel? I don't think you've got no to worry about, mate. Yeah, but kidding aside, fantastic. Yeah. And Falkirk John, I'll be seeing you soon. As soon as this lockdown comes, Kevin's going to bring you around in there when this lockdown's over. Yeah. We'll have a few drinks or whatever.
A few drinks,
Kevin's pub and that.
Well, last time he was at the pub, he helped himself, to drinks and didn't pay for him. He didn't mind. I even offered him a room, but he wouldn't stay, There
was no drink left, that's why.
But
you just kidding on.
And another quick mention, I was going to, in weeks to come, if we can do a subject about total admin in Teesside and Stockton and in Middlesbrough especially. We maybe just do a joint one on that, right? Because you know a hell of a lot of people, even from people who you wouldn't think are admin.
Oh, yeah.
One of them, you would think an admin, a big legend in Stockton, is a bloke called Shima Nelson.
Yeah.
And he was the father of a good friend of mine, Mark Nelson. Yeah. Very good friend of mine. Some people are saying silly things about him, but he's a very good friend.
You get people and they look at people and think, you should don't judge a book by the cover. That's a true saying. Yeah. And there's a little fellow around called Aki, who you know.
Yeah, Aki,
mixed martial arts expert, and he's unbelievable. But looking at him, you wouldn't think he was a fighter, but believe me, he could fight. So, and another great fighter about past was a little man called Frankie Atherton.
I was just going to mention Frankie,
from down the road,
and he was very feminine. He
was,
very
from St Helens, where he's from. So and they go, all right, love. And they're like a little bit,
he probably only weighed 10 stone. If that
he did. He fought in Madison Square Garden for a title a long time ago, obviously. But he taught me how to box. He knew. He was a bit like when we had, do you remember Rocky? When he had Mickey. Yeah, he was Mickey now. I'm not saying I'm Rocky, but he helped me fight. When I've had a few fights, I prepared for them. And
John Black respected Frankie a lot. And Frankie respected you a lot.
He did.
You took me to his house a couple of times.
We did. Railway track. That's right.
And even then, he must have been about, 62. He was knocking people out on the door.
That's how we met through Frankie. Emma was there. I won't say the lad's name. A really top fighter from Redcar, about 18, 20 stone, 6'3". And Frankie 10 stone, 5'7". and destroyed him, didn't he? That night when he hit him. Yeah, knocked him clean out.
The young lad, like a young compared
Fit,
He
fit.
wasn't arrogant at all, was he?
Just like that, so short.
So in fact, he was a little bit very gentleman.
I'll tell you what remind me of Maxie Smith. That like a proper gentleman, really nice man. Maxie's the same. You look at Maxie and think, you know he can fight, but he's not one of them people who say he's well, he can fight. But I've seen Maxie. I've seen him in training, and
he's got that air of confidence in him, and
he's a lovely man,
natural, and like a cool Clint Eastwood type,
Black,
like
John Black, another one.
John Black.
But you looked at John Black and you knew he could fight.
Yeah,
he's not one of them people you just know John could fight.
John Black. I mean, some of these people, like John Black and Rod Jones, and even John Green. John Green's a pleasant gentleman. But you can see he's an hard man as well.
You can.
A great lad. But this other lad I was just going to quickly mention, talk about them all in weeks to come. To be honest with you, there's that many subjects to talk about.
Yes.
What you know of, I know, was Shimmer Nelson, who was allegedly, well, known for fact, he was a bit of a prankster, but a hard man who fought at Appleby Fair and all that. Had awesome car, natural, be well respected by the older gypsies. He used to go into the pubs, and he was renowned one time for going in the pub on Saturday afternoon, pulling with all his might on a rope, pulling in, and everyone's looking to see who it was. And at the end of it was a little mouse on the end of it.
Yeah.
And then another fucking time, he took into, I think it was a Rocket pub, and wouldn't go out. Took in and demanded a pint for himself and his horse. Horse at the bar.
And the horse went, "Nay, bother."
And he actually served him.
Yeah.
In the end,
the horse.
Yeah, the horse had him. Yeah. The horse didn't say that. He was just keeping it quiet, But he got a pint himself, the horse. But I'm going to tell stories on him later. A little story I want to tell about, because I don't want it to be all about me, is when we run about, before going to the doorway and some incidents, is bullying, myself and you, Bride, probably there's been the odd time where I've probably hit someone I've thought, I shouldn't have done that. And I'd love to apologise to whoever. There hasn't been many, but I tended to hate bullies, and I can remember the bullying thing. The first thing I ever remember about pain when I was a kid, and I can remember very well, I lived on Earls Road, and a few doors up from me lived a lad called Frankie Timley. Tishy Timley, and he was older than me by about 3 years, and I can remember probably only being 4-year-old, maybe 5, maybe. And I stood outside his house waiting for him, talking to him. And it was a gentle little kid, you know what I mean? We were brought up good, even though it was like a rough area. And I remember him coming out and arguing with me for something, nothing, and he shoved me, a 4-year-old, really hard, and my head hit the floor. Sickly, horribly hard, and I remember it. And I remember crying. His mum, God bless her, she came out. She used to look like one of them 50s, 40s movie stars, same as my mum did. And she grabbed hold of me and cuddled me and and she, And even though I liked him, I didn't like him much till, from then. But anyway, as the years gone by, he was a friend of mine and a good friend in some ways, but he was older than me, so he was, for a lot of years, tougher. And then when we come into our age where you start to look after yourself, he didn't say much. But anyway, going back to boxing, we boxed on, I think Maxie Smith was involved in the setting up of this, George Irwin's fight at Datland Garden City. And they used to nickname him Bum of the Month fights, but it was in a proper ring. And we were all fighting. So anyway, I had a fight, first fight ever, 3 rounds. And the lad who was supposed to fight, Ernie Wales, he decided that me and him shouldn't fight because we were that great of mates. We couldn't have Ernie's a great lad, So a mate of mine stepped in and said, "Oh, we'll do like a little bit of an exhibition," even though we weren't good boxers, we're very fast. So anyway, I got the decision, but it wasn't anything flash because we didn't want to hurt each other. And anyway, the fight after that, another lad, a lad who I respect very much, good lad, nice lad. You might know him, Brendan Keller. Do you know him?
Oh, no, Brendan,
well, he wasn't so much known as a nasty, tough lad, but he was fit and could look after himself. It was his first boxing fight. Anyway, this person, Frankie Timley, who was the lad who shoved me over when I was 4 years old, was fighting him. And he used to talk to Tish then, we were friends then, but he was a bit of a dickhead. And anyway, before it, he was at the bar, and he'd had, as I say, it was Bum of the Month show, 20 double runs before he went in the ring.
But talk about Dutch courage.
But the bloke on the bell, Jackie Vickers, was first anyway. It was supposed to be 3-minute rounds. He ended up 8-minute rounds. And all that. So anyway, Tishy goes in and stupidly, before they start fighting, he runs at Brendan and nuts him bang on the nose, busts his nose all over the blood. Some photos about somewhere, blood everywhere, all over, and people shouting. But the referee just let it go on. I say Bum of the Month show. Yeah. And so anyway, to cut long story short, Brendan gave him a boxing lesson and belted him up, beat him. Yeah. After the fight, we were walking up the road to Winniebanks, and Frankie Timley was gobbing off. But going back to retract myself, something kept coming to my mind about him. When we were about 10, we walked up Ascot Avenue, and he seen this frog. This is the lad who was a bit of a bully. Yeah. And he picked this frog up, and we couldn't say no because we were scared when he was older than us. Yeah. Picked the frog up, stuck a straw up its bum. Yeah. Blew it up like a balloon bride. Yeah. Shot it in the air, kicked it. Believe it or not, it hit a chimney roof at Ascot Avenue and went down it. And me and my mates were like sick. And I never forgot about this frog that he'd killed. Now he killed it violently, horribly. Yeah. So after this boxing fight, we're going up the road and he starts picking on me. You boxing, there's no blood about, look at my blood about, blah, 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 you know, and starts acting the hard case. Anyway, in the end, I turned round and I walloped him, hit him, knocked him on the deck and got on top of him and punched him, bang, bang, busted his nose and everything. Yeah. Maybe he's about 10 times, really battered him. Yeah. And as he's coming round, he said, "What did you do with that for?" I said, "That was for the fucking frog in 1968, cunt."
Yeah. Now hoppers.
So just to get out of the way,
Brilliant.
I bet that's been on your chest all them years. So there. But you know what? Do you know what that is? When people do things like that, it's the first sign of a serial killer. When they hurt animals when they're young, they all go back to when the kids when they hurt animals. So
well, later on, he done some daft things and he got into a lot of trouble. He was a good footballer as well. As I say, I liked him. I'm not calling him. But he ended up moving to York and died in a house fire like alcoholic, you know. Right. Yeah. But anyway, we were going to go back onto the door work of our started off, finished the baths, you know, 1982, I think it was. But prior to that, I'd done a little bit of door work on Cockerill.
Where was that, Kev?
Do you know where Prince Regent Street is?
Oh, yeah.
I know where Bianco's is.
Yeah.
There's an old building.
I know what you mean,
It's knocked down now.
Yeah, it's got on that side.
Yeah, and it was like a place for like punks and stuff like that. You know,
used to go there.
Speedy used to go, yeah. Well, I worked on the door there when I worked for the baths. And two of the people who used to go into the time, and they were quite tough lads at the time, Antwills was Big John Pugh, Puggy, and also John Thorburn, you know John Thorburn?
Yeah.
John. And they were the main ones you had to think, oh, I hope they're not causing trouble tonight. You haven't shot them out the back door. But they became good friends. Yeah. And later years, they worked on the door at Bentley's for us, both of them. You know, but going back to door incidents, I can remember working on the door, say again with Paul Owens, very, very tough lad, but a good lad, very well liked lad. Then I left Superstars, where I'd worked with Tommy Pick, Jimmy Pick. There was quite a lot of fights on the door then as well.
Where was that place?
That was again Bianco's.
Right, Bianco's.
But they called it Superstars.
There's loads of clubs on that street, hasn't it?
It's had that many names, and I don't like to mention this part, but I will mention it because it wasn't anything. Well, intentional, but I think in 1979, maybe early 80, Maxie Smith was working on the door with Mickey Davies, a friend of mine, and I didn't know Maxie at the time. I knew of him, but apparently there was a lad really causing trouble, and anyway, I'm not sure whether it was Maxie or Mickey delivered a blow, hit them cleanly, defending themselves. And the lad died.
Yeah, that's the only thing about a thingy.
And it wasn't Maxie's fault. He was defending himself.
A friend of mine, I won't say his name, but he had the same thing with a couple of lads. He hit him, and the lad died. And it's horrible. But the lad was throwing punches, hitting him with bottles and all sorts. And our friend still got 5 years.
I know.
For defending himself, but the class is manslaughter done. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether Maxie and Mickey got found not guilty of, but they weren't thugs are out. Maxie's a gentleman, but it just shows you. the capability of some people,
especially the trains,
when they're trained, where they can hit someone clean. You're not.
I hear these people coming on, Kevin, going, £10 million for a fight. I'm getting ring with Tyson. They don't realise how much power's coming out of that punch. I know they're 15 stone 10, but there's 15 stone 10 of power coming from that punch. Every inch and every bit of that muscle's coming through in power, and the accuracy. Your spleen would just explode, your kidneys, and you wouldn't be able to. That's why they have to do 500 sit-ups and all these press-ups. This constant training. Boxing's the hardest sport in the world. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt it's the hardest sport.
Another similar thing happened to a friend of yours, and he became a little bit of a friend of mine. I visited him in prison, actually. Was Mickey Mallon. Well, he went
to door for me, and the same thing happened with him.
And he was only a little lad, wasn't he?
He hit the lad, and he hit him on the club. And the lad, he hit him. He was called Brian Robson at the time, the lad, and he caught him, but he got caught on camera. He was caught.
Was the lad an innocent?
He was just a bit of a lad. He was trying to offer him out when we won 1-1 and all that as he get them on the doors. And Mickey caught him, and he could punch hard, Mickey.
Yeah, he was only a little.
And he got the same thing happened twice. Twice he went to jail for 5 years. He got twice.
Because I remember reading the case a bit, and obviously there when
he didn't. He wasn't a boy or anything. He just a lad had a fair fight, and he caught him. And there's 1 in a million chance that you could get this injury. And twice he'd done it. So
and going, I mean, you know about medicine yourself. Obviously, you've got your carotid arteries and your vertebral arteries,
something like that.
And the jerk of it obviously severed his artery.
Yeah, that's right.
And how bad luck can you get? I mean, obviously, God bless whoever it was who was killed. But Mickey got done for manslaughter, didn't he? And come out, and the same thing happened again, didn't it?
The same thing. I'm going to tell you the truth. He was the lad we went to visit when I had the fight with Duffy that day. Because we went to Durham that day to see Mickey.
That's
and then we came back, and we had something. We had Stevie's. We had a pounds on over there. We come across. We seen Jimmy Stubbs in the street when I had a fight with Lee that day.
I still remember you having on the afternoon. You weren't drinking as such, but you had a pint of shandy.
I like a lemonade shandy.
And we talk about that another time. Detail it and put people right on that.
Yes,
Philip Crawford. Hi guys.
Hi Philip.
Do you know Marty Mandeville? I worked with him. He seemed like
I know the lad. He lived up there for a while. Met him a few times. Really nice lad. Bram loves it a bit. He taught Bram a lot of fighting. Really good mixed martial arts fighter. Nice lad, polite gentleman, and well liked.
And I know Marty's a good friend of Mark Nelson's, the lad who I mentioned, and Marty's our class. Marty,
tough lad, right?
As a friend, he was a proper good fighter, like a Van Damme type, you know,
really good,
proper rugged looking, and looks the part. And he's still training well today, actually, very well.
Ozzy Bingham said, "Tell Kevin the best boxing match in Winniebanks was John Hall and Bonker."
It was actually, he's talking about.
Tell us that one. Hi, Ozzy, mate. We love you. We've come to see you soon.
I know Kevin will laugh about that.
Well, actually, saying that was slightly after I had one of the Bum of the Month shows. And
Bum of the Month show.
What it meant was anyone could get in our way. I would have been the pub.
What would have been the worst if there was a lot of them drank. When they had the bell got bloody hell, last orders. They didn't run out the ring for a drink.
Well, what actually happened is that what he's talking about, Bonker and John Hall. John Hall, another very good friend of mine. Brushback hair, Teddy boy. Was a good friend of my brother's, Brian. Done a little bit of boxing. Lovely lad, great lad. Elvis, call him John Elvis Hall. And we had the fight in the Garden City. But because it was that much of a farce, and as I say, Tishy Timley and that, and Brendan, and Kev Scott was fighting, Alan Round.
Kev's good lad.
Elvis Tomo had a proper bloodied fight there with a lad called Jim Collins.
Right.
Really, you couldn't separate them. It was a great fight. And Kev Scott, another great fighter. Well, anyway, after it all, there was that much shit in the paper because the boxing rings with scaffoldings coming up as posts and bits of wire hanging out, you know, and the timekeeper, Jackie Vickers, was pissed. He was an ex-boxer, but, you know, and he was getting the runs down and people shouting, "Jackie, it's time," and be 6-7 minute rounds. Or there might be a 10-second round and he stopped for a drink at the bar. So we all got banned. First boxing fight ever. Banned
the event every week. Got banned.
So then,
what happened to Bum of the Month then?
Well, Bum of the Month thing there, George Irwin, another great friend of mine, friend of Peter McGee's. I'll mention Peter.
Hi, Peter, mate. Good lad.
Peter, a really good lad. And George Irwin then said, what are we going to do? I know. We do the events outdoors. So they've done the events outside on the park opposite the Roseberry, what they call the Brick Pond. And all it was a few with the stakes stuck in and they're opening it down.
Yeah.
But
like old fashioned, them type fight.
But that hired in, I thought someone who was the best referee they could bring in and the best image of boxing at the time. The referee was Brian Graham, who was a great boxer himself, was a knockout merchant. So Brian Graham was the, he's not only the referee, he must have been entertaining so much. So Brian's a referee. And John Hall and Bonker, there was big money on it. I think Bonker was a little bit of a traveller or something like that.
Right.
And John Hall won the fight. But during that, there was another fight between two heavyweights, Sully and another lad, Cookie. And they were really, really big lads, massive lads, out of shape, but massive lads. Probably both about 20 stone each, easy, but out of shape.
Yeah.
And anyway, they're having the boxing fight and they couldn't get shorts, so they had these big tracky bottoms tied round. And as they're lacing into each other, someone's there, both the tracky bottoms ripped and they had them down the knees and still nearly bollock naked fighting. Yeah, but they were great days. And there was lots of boxing fights like that after that, and they become popular. Yeah. My cousin Sean, he had a few fights. He was very good, Sean, as well.
Yeah.
In fact, he was due to have one not long ago, Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard graft. The thing is, when you train for a fight, it's different when you're in a club in a bell ring. You run over and grab someone because it's been spontaneous.
Yeah.
But when you've got that's like 10 weeks of a fight, and you start going, I'll knock him out. Easy knock him out. All your mates, and you go depending on that, you go, I'm going to win this fight. And you start creeping into that little man, So but even the greatest fighters do. Tyson even said it.
And it never plans out how it's going to be.
I've had fights with people 6'6" and I bit them once, knocked them out. But fights with people 12 stone and I can't get hold of them. You know what I mean? I've won the fight still. Yeah. I took a lot longer, but as long as you win, I used to say.
Yeah, well, that's it.
It's like a game of chess in it. Every fight is different to people.
Yeah, and going back to the door work after that, where I mentioned Maxie and Mickey, and they were both gentlemen. Mickey Davies, a proper gentleman, doing a lot of boxing training, had a few boxing fights, great lad work when we had Bentleys. But then the door I went to after that was the boat, where I had some great laughs. But then the other main door I went to for a bit. I think it was the summer of 1982 as I worked on the Bird's Nest. And I worked with Gary Jordan. Gary probably was only about 18, 19 at the time. Yeah. And he was head doorman there,
Thornaby lads.
So it was Thornaby lads who were running the door at a Stockton pub. Right. Which might not have went down very well. Jimmy Wilson, another great lad, tough lad.
There's all been conflict between Thornaby and Stockton and the fight schools and stuff.
There was some good lads there. And anyway, we had many fights there. And Gassy Jordan could look after himself, Gary, and I think he solved a lot of the problems by his up-and-coming lad, and I'd have asked me to go and work for him. I didn't. It was a good place to work, and the Bird's Nest upstairs, but it seemed to be full of Thornaby people, which was nothing wrong.
That was funny because Bear Lynn's, when I used to run the door there, which is on Prince Regent Street.
Yeah.
It was all Thornaby. Paul Owens used to come there all the time, Maxie and that, and we'd have a good laugh and a good chat on the door and stuff like that. But the days of that, like them days, you had to see them days. You had to be able to fight. As you know, Kevin, you couldn't just be like a good talker. You had to be able to talk. But the main thing, you had to fight because wouldn't it be a ganging?
Yeah,
you'd have to fist fight. You couldn't call the police because it wouldn't turn up. No. And I remember having a fight outside John Black worked for with Kenny Gregory's pub. Kenny Gregory was there. And I had a fight on the door downtown. Downtown. And about 7 of the wrecking crew come and a spark 5 of them out. And the other 2 ran off and the cops come home. I thought they were going to nick them. Oh, that was brilliant, that. And the cops were over the moon because there was bullies. They were always bullying everyone. They were going in the clubs, taking the drinks off people and stuff and bullying people. They didn't bother with the cops. They just let you get on with it.
Well, the licensees then didn't want you to phone the coppers because it'd be a tick against it. Yeah. They could end up losing the license. Right. So you try. But the thing is, you worked on the door then, and I mean myself, you had adrenaline. You had a bit. I wouldn't say a fear in you, but you knew that night every night some form of fight, and you were fighting there. You were working there for one thing. To earn money, not to be all I work on the door, I work on the door. To earn
of course,
money,
that's what you made your living from. You went home, you slept, got about 12 o'clock, you go into the MR, have something to eat, go to the gym, train, We went to Wembley, have some tea, and then go to work.
Yeah.
You're there till 2, 3. We get in at 4 and 5 in the morning.
I know.
Ridiculous.
And when you got,
but I lived above a gym them days, and where Tony Stubbs them used to train us, and Mark Miller, and not Mark, Peter Miller, sorry, from Grangetown. And Peter was the first person who spotted me. And you remember the gym near the Wickers Wells? It was at the top. I can't remember the name of it now. It was at the top. They were all in there, and I used to bench 6 plates in there, and there was people.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Paul Salt used to be in. There was Steve Davies in there. There was Mickey Flanagan, Sean, all of them used to come in. And I said to Mickey, "Gives up spot this," and he thought I was taking the piss with us. Right, you know, I'd bench 6 plates. He went, "Yeah, take the piss." And I used to bench this, but everyone used to see is Elvis Tomo, Pecker, all them snacks. You know, all them type of people.
You seem to float on the scene where people started mentioning this person, and then a few weeks later it was mentioned, and then within a year or year and a half or 2, you were the person they wanted to employ to work on the doors.
Yeah, that's right.
Because obviously, as you know, they all used to call you Scotch Bride, didn't
That's right, yeah. When I was at Redcar, because as you know, the lads from Cockerill, that's where I'm from, Townhead in Scotland, and Dallas Gordon, our friend, isn't it? Gordon.
Yeah,
And,
Gordon's great.
Yeah, Gordon's great. He's our friend, and they'll be watching this. But when I started to get the doors, you're like getting a bit of a buzz, you know, getting a few doors. But the only thing we had all the doors, we had Mark Johnson, Ali Johnson, Adish, Cookie, John Watson, Benny McDevitt, Tony Stubbs, the best doorman I ever worked with, Tony Johns, Tony Tapper. There was loads, wasn't there? Good
Some
lads,
really
you know.
good lads, weren't there? You know,
Pete,
very good
Peter Miller,
lads.
who's like I say, was a person. If they're on watching, just what was the name of that club that we benched? I benched 5 plates that day. It was the first time I did it. I was 22 years old.
Yeah.
And they were all in there, but we never missed the gym. We were dedicated. We never missed.
Yeah, most of the door lads then were training one way or the other, whether it's weight training.
Definitely.
A couple of the lads were into box and
it was
stuff like that.
Everyone was like, "Oh, don't you get big as you can, strong as you can, lift as heaviest." And people would be going and what you try to. I've been 300 pounds in it, and somebody else would do it, and they go, "You don't do 4," and then you get it, and you think, "I want to get to 6." You get to 16 stone, you think, right? What if I could get to 16.5?
Yeah,
then you get to 16.5, and you go, "What if I get to 17?" You get. I remember being 23 stone, 10 pound, and think, "What if I could get to 24?" It just never ends.
You get carried around,
you do get a little bit obsessed with it, and then I remember being huge. Saying, "My legs looking thin," you know. I was a 5 extra large.
I think when you get someone as big as you, that's not a bad thing.
No,
really.
that's not me.
But when it's someone little, little, and they want to really put more and more weight on you, defeating the object.
I think also when you start going, "Oh, great," I used to never wear a vest.
I very rarely used
to. I only started wearing it late on when I was 67 and 2000. When you see me train for the World so much, man, in my YouTube videos, which is on here.
Yeah, later on, didn't you?
Kevin was there when he see me doing these lifts and that.
God, these mega.
When I was killing 63 g dumbbells and ridiculous 140 g triceps.
Just carry on, didn't we?
Yeah, we pretend we drove elbow and drop them in.
And Mick Flanagan used to nod at me, Mike, and go,
"Yeah, I bent all these Olympic bars, didn't I?" I was doing this grip work. It wasn't a deadlift, it was what you call grip work.
Michael and Shauna won that gym, wasn't it?
Yeah. So they had the other gym with the girl called Amanda. She lived up that way. Michael, that was at that gym upstairs. That was another one, and I was doing the deadlifts, and I think it was 700 pound or something after done. And I put the weight on. I did a 500 for 10, 15 reps. Like I do 10 and 15s and things like that. It's not just one rep. And the fuzzy light all fell down on the girls on stairs. Don't they keep? Oh, the lights fell
downstairs.
Downstairs,
yeah. And they had to cancel the class.
So what they've done is, because of me being that strong up, the foundation started getting knackered. So they bought downstairs and done it all out for a big heavy duty gym. You remember down? We used to go to the leg of and we used to train there. It was a concrete floor. And I used to train with Martin. They used to have the health shop. Martin Robinson.
That might have been, if they'd known you were going to train there, that might have been the best bet to do that anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. But it was great.
I was asking what Sunderland was like when you went up there.
Oh, Sunderland. Oh, well, going up there a little bit scary, tell you the truth, because it's this big city, isn't it? It's not like Middlesbrough, a little tiny town. But the best fighter I've ever come across, Eddie Buick, my friend. Brilliant gentleman, love him to bits. But he always said, "I'm the best fighter he's ever come across." We'll have to fight over it. No, kidding aside, love him to bits. people have tried to cause trouble in the past for me and Ernie, but we know it's all bullshit. So
Proper
me and
love
Ernie,
between us, isn't it?
me and Ernie shook hands in the Coliseum that night, and we never disrespected. I always had respect, utmost respect. And Big Brian Lofton, Big Wayne up there, Bob Raw up there, all good lads. And we used to go up to Sunderland, and I'd go up there and I'd help Ernie on the doors, and he loved it. And he'd come down my place, and we'd have somebody help me with my door, and we had the respect for Ernie, and he is one of the best fighters. He always reminds me of Rocky Marciano. He just keeps coming and coming and coming, and he's the same. Ernie, no disrespect to look at him, you would think he's not the best fighter. Like, he has got that look, but the thing is, he hasn't been beat. That's why he hasn't got his face. You know, you see a lot of fighters with the face bashed in and that, but he hasn't. He's won all his fights, so top fighter, only person to beat.
Yeah, I've heard very
well,
good things about.
He was overruled when you phoned me the other month.
I never met him. Like I looked up on YouTube, but I always visualised what he looked like. But I've only heard.
I always wore like sometimes a hat and little
fingers,
gloves.
I said, anyway, he said, just in case we get a bit old now, but Ernie was like John Black was to me.
A gentleman.
He was like a dad to me. Like an older brother, and he was always lovely and respect to him. But I remember going on the bag of the old, remember this if he's watching, he came to my old house and I just pretended I couldn't fight. I just did it a few times. I went, you're not going to beat this certain pro boxer fight like that. So I went, is it better like this? And he went, Jesus, he said, if you hit someone that right hand, you'll kill them. He said, take the piss out of me, because I was pretending, you know, so I did the same thing like I did to McIntyre. He went,
I remember McIntyre on the bag. Like, oh, fuck that, yeah.
He said, well, you've been that big, you won't be that fast, McIntyre. And they said, they actually offered me £2,000 the BBC to knock him out.
Yeah,
that's a true story, that, yeah. And,
why didn't he? Because
he was such a nice man, honestly.
Yeah,
he was sat there, and he went, how can you look the size of you, and how are you that fit, being that big and all that? I said, just training, just since I was a kid, and you just have to do what you have to do. But all these people are lovely people. I've met over the years, loads of them, and a lot of these people I've had fights with, top fighters from all parts of the country, and they're best friends with us.
Yeah, it's great that they've become good friends and no bad feelings.
Yeah,
I knew a lad from Sunderland, got introduced him once. I got to know him quite well. A lad called Paul Abley. Two Bats was his nickname.
I remember him. He got a lot of jails, and he got Sunderland.
He was having a fight.
Pal, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was having a fight up there at one of the places. What they call the nightclub there, Brian, the Rave place.
I'm not sure. Is it the Monkey?
Might have been the Blue Monkey thing, yeah. And he was having a fight with someone, and he said that the lad had the knife, whether he did or not, and he took it off him and stabbed him in the kidneys, and Two Bats got, he really got him to manslaughter. He got 5 years.
Yeah.
But he was on the run, and while he was on the run, he was probably thinking he was going to get life, which you would do.
Yeah.
And a person who I know was wanting someone sorted out and offered some money to Paul Abley through a third party to say, you look like you're going to get life here.
Yeah.
Do you want some money? I think it was about 10 grand to go on the run with.
Yeah.
And I wasn't part of it, but I was piggy in the middle, and I went to this Paul Abley and I said, don't do it, you know, call it off. And I said to the other lad, and in one sense, it probably saved him definitely getting a life sentence, and possibly the other lad getting a life sentence for conspiracy. You know,
cost of justice.
Paul.
There's been loads of people killed. Speedy, our friend, he was shot in the throat when he and killed. There's loads of deaths in there, especially in the early 90s. When I first got out of jail, 91 to 95, till I went to jail. They said it was the worst violence. And most of it's down to you. I said, you blame me for everything, but I was getting arrested every week, nearly for shootings. Shootings in. I mean, Speedy got a lad, allegedly, to throw. We had an argument, one of the pubs, I won't say which one it was, and he threw a spark plug at the window. And the bloke done it with a white thing, and the cops pulled them to just blow the windows out. So they had us in again, me and Speedy. They did the powder residue test, where they test you to see if it's fired explosive, like powder goes on your hands, and they can tell. Nothing on me. So, and then there was the shootings at the Blue Monkey. I got pulled in for them. Murder trials, all sorts of crazy things to try to blame me for. But
when I had a kids club called, well, it wasn't a kids club at the time, it was a nightclub. They called it K2, and I rented it after Denny Oil had it, rented it where there was, and there was a person killed outside there when Denny had it, and then he was out, had a good security company with Eddie, and he decided he thought he's going to get bad publicity. He's not to bother with it. So I ended up taking it over. It didn't.
Oh, that was that Billingham.
Yeah, the big round one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Elder Rigby's one. We used to enter all there. Yeah.
Originally, it was the Roundel.
I remember having a fight with a couple of lads.
The Laurent.
A couple of lads over there. I won't say the lad's name. He said, "I'm the best fighter in Billingham," and he hit him with this left hook and knocked him out. And picked him up and carried him to the table. And about 10 years later, he phoned me and went, "Brian, I'm not the best fighter you are now."
Yeah.
And he befriended me. I went to see him with Big Brian Flaherty over to the station pub.
Yeah.
And they were on the phone talking. He said, he hit me. He said, he knocked me out for 20 minutes. And this lad could fight for fun, you know. He said, he knocked me out one left hook. And he said, knocked me out on the twice. He could have jumped all over me, done anything. He picked me up, put me on the chair, woke me up and said, "Get yourself home."
Yeah.
And that's what I was like. You know, I wasn't a bully. I didn't do things. So
I mean,
good friends with the lad now.
Billingham at the time had, well, I think even earlier 60s had some tough lads.
Did, yeah.
But the Laurent, when it was open, it was a super nightclub, and them days, another person I'd like to talk about in depth later on when we go on about Ardman, there was a lad who was a father of friends of mine, Mark White and Paul White. His father was Trevor White. I don't know whether you know. And he was nicknamed Killer White. Right. He had a little bit of a resemblance of a dark head of Nick Noel. Do you know Nick Noel?
Yeah.
And he could really fight. Trevor, always dressed in a suit and pinstripes and that.
Like old 70s type style. Yeah.
But anyway, when I took over this, people weren't coming in, probably because of the death that happened before.
Right.
So what we do is we'd open it up, and you'd only get about 40 or 50 in, which wasn't enough to make the club work. So we couldn't really afford a doorman. So there was me and who not own the place, leaves the place, and John Thorburn. Right. And John, he was losing his mind a little bit at the time, but he was very loyal to me, and he didn't give a shit about nothing. Yeah. And a couple of times people come up, and we once actually, even though John knew Speedy very well, me and John wouldn't let Speedy and Chris Curry and a few others in. Basically, it was because Speedy was talking outside, and he was talking a little bit out of term about shooting people and customers. And so he said, you can't come in. There's got to be certain things and rules you stand by. But there was a little bit of a local hard case there. People were scared of a little stocky lad. And I get on with him now, and I speak to him now. And anyway, he came in one night, walked straight upstairs, buzzer went. He said he's arguing with a lass and dragging her about. Went up to see this lad. And they were lined up at the bar. There was about 6 of the Billingham lads, tough lads who were, good lads as well. And given the due, they didn't butt in. And I went up, and I'm on my own this night, totally on my own. John hadn't turned up. So I walked up with me as a can in his hand. I said, "You can't be doing that in here." And I knew I had no one to help me. So, your adrenaline is going, but you're acting calm. And all of a sudden, he said, "What are you going to fucking do like you're from out the area?" And he got the can of beer at me. And all of a sudden, I didn't hit him. I actually slapped him with a short slap. Bang! Luckily, after all that years, the instinct was still there. I knocked him on the deck, more or less out. Dragged him out the back door, the fire escape, shot him out, locked the front doors. Come round later on, banging on the back door. And I opened it, and I went to go up again. He come downstairs. He said, you fucker." He said, "I'm just on the phone now to Bry Cockerill. Just on the phone to Bry Cockerill. He's going to come up and fucking do you." And I said, "Hold on a sec." I said, "Hey, it's fucking not engaged." "All right, Brian, it's a daft country." "Oh, I'm sorry,
There's a lad called Richard Hutchinson said, "Tell Kev, I remember the half-pint whiskey he bet me I couldn't drink in K2.
Here we go, Kelly. They'll go out to sell a few whiskies.
Well, Richard Hutchinson, another great lad, funny lad. His mum, great woman, Kathy Hutch, well known in Thornaby. I can remember it well, and him and his wife used to come up regularly. He'll have to come over to my pub when it opens. Well, the family's pub, it's not mine, the family's. But Richie's, I remember well, he game for anything, lovely lad, funny lad, but his dad was a great friend of everyone's. Ronnie Rutter the Nutter, and Ronnie stories.
I had to bar him out a few places.
When we talk about hard cases, I talk about, because he was a game lad, but he was the last person in Great Britain to be ever on the punishment of bread and water.
Was he?
Last person on bread and water.
Close to that, didn't he? in Thornaby, I think.
I think he had a few problems and that, and he had a few health problems, but he was a funny lad, and he was a really great lad. Yeah. I remember there was a story about him in the 70s when Wranglers had come out that I think it was his brother or someone had stupidly went in and went out and down the Saddlers in Ronnie's denim jacket, his brother.
Yeah.
And he come back in and Ronnie nearly broke his fucking back with a poker for borrowing his denim jacket. But Ronnie Rutter was
I think it was Ronnie Rutter the Nutter, wasn't he?
Yeah, Ronnie Rutter. And Gary Jordan, another good friend of mine. Gary used to look after Ronnie and really like him.
And Peter and
Peter and Neil, very good people.
Good lads.
They're very good, yeah. And,
coming there, isn't it?
Gary, recent years had had bad health with cancer on his throat. I was talking to him a few years ago in Walkers, had a pint with him. Very well respected lad. He was still going out.
He was bringing kids over, wasn't he, from Romania and places like that, giving them somewhere to stay and feeding them and that. Doing really well what he does to them.
Doing well, and he was one of the first persons around that started renting houses out. Didn't have much. Lives in a big nice house at
never been involved in drugs or nothing.
No, he hasn't.
He just did the doors and did a bit of debt collecting and stuff like that. So
another one who's had a few fights with people.
Another one who's never
people out,
never bothered with drugs or done anything like that. He was looked after the doors, and he's funny. I remember one night we were in the Coliseum we were in, and we were in there, and there was a big skinny lad from Newcastle, and I shouted at him, about 6'10", this lad. Up to him, Mick the Gun.
Mick the Gun, yeah.
And I shouted at him, he grasped him up and got him in jail.
He looked like that.
He used to have a skeleton's suit on, didn't he, off the Karate Kid, remember, like them things?
He looked like that Leon off the film, didn't he?
And gave him a screaming at, and then he was laughing. But we used to go up there in his club. Then we went up there and with G to G on, just a little bit. We had to look after them. We went into this other club. A lad, he was a judo champion. I think Bram knows him. It was called the Nightclub, and we got £300 just for doing that thing. Drinking champagne and everything, and just living the life, brilliant. Yeah. And there was the place where on following had me Cosworths and Porsches and the cars. Yeah. You had all that stuff, but they're just cars really at the end of the day. A £500 or a 50 grand car still got just a car, and they had all this gold and obviously having nothing for council say you show off with it, I'll get a gold chain, I'll get this, and you don't have to get against the other, like all that type of stuff. But it's just all shit. We're not glorifying it.
No, you're not glorifying, just saying the tales of how it was. And I knew Mick a little bit. I met him quite a few times now and then. Got on with him, big tall lad, and he got. And he won't mind me saying, he got badly into the drugs and went down. And I think at one time, you might know the story of it, but I'm not sure whether it was in his prison cell or whatever. One of the lads, the gangsters from Newcastle, went in and stabbed him in the chest. But Mick was known well for, won't get him into trouble now, distributing these little Dillingers, the guns. They were literally
handmade little things.
Handmade. And
that's why it was called Mick the Gun.
Mick the Gun, and he was selling them for I think about 100 or 200 quid a go, and he only fired.
But you could shoot. I could shoot from here over there.
Oh, I fucking
there was a shit, absolute shit. Not that I had them. Just that, John Dillinger, that was the gangster years ago where they got it from, isn't it? As the
I remember a lad who, as I say, we went in that, but a lot of people bought them as a bit of a novelty, And there were
I'll show you. Like a little tiny.
They did hit you, they'd kill you.
Oh, kill you, feet in the edge.
But a lad who I know very, very, very well, who I've mentioned on here, who's close to me, but I won't mention who it is because you'll kick on straight away. And he knew about firearms, same as I did, fired legal ones before. Yeah. And he was in a club watching it shoot, and everyone was out at the end of the night, gone. Everyone, and he had access to this club, and the toilet door was about 20 metres away. And anyway, they got one of these, and they're messing about with it.
Yeah.
Probably not realising that if he did anyone, it'd kill him. And he's firing at this toilet door, 3 o'clock in the morning. The gun's up, Mick the Gun. One bullet to go that way, one bullet to go that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, this lad who was a good friend of mine aims at the toilet door, but I can hit that. Aims at it, one, boom. The other one, boom. Fucking hits it. Perfect through it.
Yeah.
Just went through, and all of a sudden the bloke walks out the toilet. If it had been a minute earlier, he'd have been fucking dead.
Yeah, it just shows, doesn't it? But that's the thing. guns no good, all night, because you end up carrying them, you end up using or showing off with them, and you'll get killed on them. So
another friend of mine, Brian, I don't know whether you met him, the Bentley's lads, the Stockton lads will remember him, was a lad called, I'm not sure whether he was part Indian or part Pakistani, a lad called Singh.
Oh, I don't think so.
He worked on the door with us now and then.
Remember Jimmy Dean, all them, and Javed and all them at the Mall and all them.
Well, he used to have hair a little bit like Javed Unker.
It might be. It might be
like Jackson. He used to do a bit of boxing, but he was a very soft, not soft-natured, pleasant.
I think I don't know.
But he could have a bit of a fight, but would avoid fights and that. And anyway, we'd finished working on the door, and a few years, and someone gave us some tragic news that he had some problems with a girl and threw himself off the Swallow Hotel car.
I remember that. Yeah,
killed himself. You know.
I remember the first time when the cameras saved me when I was working on the door with Kenny Gregory and the manager Sid from Billingham, lovely lad. We used to work at the door, and his missus was a nurse and everything, lovely lass. And they used to do all the drinks and things like that. We used to do all the bars and that. And this lad come, and he wanted to come in anyway. He pulled a knife on me and tried to come across like that with the blade. And I jumped back, and I was with Tony Stubbs and Barry McDevitt and Cookie. Anyway, I jumped. I remember John Mack showing me the punch. It was Fraser did the punch where you jump off your feet and throw a left hook. So
John Mack showed you.
John Mack showed you. You jump and you throw it. It's hard to do. What you do is, in the ring, you get disqualified. But I caught him with my elbow. He said, follow through with your hand, you miss it. The elbow, I caught him and knocked him down. This woman, inspector, come over, you're under arrest. I've just seen you with that man for nothing. You're going to arrest me. So Kenny said, hey, I beg to differ. So she was arguing on the door. So I said, he tried to stab me. Somebody else had picked the knife and ran off with it, he said. But she couldn't see. She could only see from the angle there. Yeah. And they were in front, people on the queue and everything. But Kenny had the camera on, so he took it in and said, he went upstairs and said, yeah, I apologise, I'm sorry about that. So it had been done for an assault, so I broke his jaw. And it just shows you them cameras do save you sometimes.
Yeah, they can do, They can be for you or against you. But nowadays, I mean, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's probably a good thing because it can solve a lot of crimes. Everyone's got a CCTV camera now on a mobile phone. Anything happens.
Even taxis have got, cars have got everything. Accidents, insurance companies. So everywhere you go, there's a camera now. George Orwell written a book called 1984, and he written it in 1948, and he turned the digits round to 84. He said by 1984, you check it up, I can have a look. It was written in 1948, and he turned them around in 1984. He said by 1984, Big Brother would be everyone watching you, and it's actually here now, isn't it? So he wasn't far off. Fantastic.
Another little story about working on the doors. There's lots of them we mentioned, but one of them was the back end of where I worked on the door. I might go forward then back, but this was the back end of working on the door. And we were working on the door one night. It was a Monday night. I remember it. Over 25's night at Bentley's, known as a very popular night. And every now and then you'd get rough people come in now and then, this particular night, Alan Cowley was in. Have you heard of Alan Cowley?
Yeah.
Alan, he had a name as a bit of a fighter and that, and some people liked him, some didn't. I got on with him, didn't know him overly well. But anyway, for some reason, there was a lad who I know very well, called Carl Mennel from Thornaby, Carl.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you know him.
Yeah.
Carl. He's. I always say that if he's listening, Carl Mennel, he always reminds me of the lead singer of KC in the Sunshine Band.
Oh yeah.
Every time I hear him,
everybody loves you.
He looks like, I think he does anyway. And going back many years ago, I lived in Thornaby Road at the time. And Carlo came knocking on the door, and I was only just got out of prison. I was only 11 stone, knocking on the door, looking for this lad, Dickie Derbyshire, who was in my house. And we weren't drinking them days once a week. And he come to the door, kicking hell out the door. Anyway, I had to go out and punch him. And we were friends, but I was older than him, he was only a young lad. But this particular night, as I say, a long time after that, I got on with him and his dad and his brother Dwayne. And Carlo was upstairs, the buzzer went. Fight took place. You go up and Alan Cowley's got hold of Carlo, trying to knock him about and this, that, and the other. And me and a couple of door lads got hold of him, shot him off, let Carlo in, he'd stay. And Carlo didn't seem to be too fussed about. He was a game lad, he could fight a little bit anyway. And anyway, we ended up shutting Cowley out near the end of the night. And I went up at dawn, I was at the time, actually, back end of it. I said to Carlo, he's waiting outside there for you, Carlo. There's nothing much we can do going off the step. We've told him to fuck off, but he'll wait for you. What do you want to do? Do you want to, I'll let you out the back door now. Which the back door, you could have went out where the taxis were, Delta taxis, and went without being known. And he said, no, I'd rather just walk out the front door. He said, I'll just walk away from him. I'll walk to Delta. So he comes out. I said, are you sure you're going to be all right, Carlo? Yeah. He walks out dead fast, not looking for any trouble at all. Goes left along to Delta taxis and left again. And anyway, as we shut the door, we literally legally had to unchain it up. One of the door lads said, Cowley's going to walk after me, you know. I said, it'd be all right being a taxi by then, maybe. Anyway, literally within a couple of minutes, the big commotion, ambulance, went round to see what it was, and there's Alan Cowley literally getting stretched out, unconscious, really bashed up. What actually happened, to be honest with you, I don't know. But it's alleged that he went for Carlo, sitting in Carlo's, you know, hit him either with his hands or with whatever, and being in fear for his safety, you know.
There wasn't many cameras about
no one likes that's what happened to Alan Cowley or his family. I mean, his brother Bob's a great bloke. He won't remember me, but I remember Bob. And anyway, Alan was like Morris Cabbage in a wheelchair, and Carlo got charged with it, went to court, so you can imagine what it felt like. And anyway, I went as a witness to say what happened that night at the Crown Court. And Carlo must have been stood in the dock thinking, if you get found guilty for this, it's even for manslaughter, he might have got 10 years straight. If it was murder, he'd have got a life sentence, but it wasn't murder. And I just told the truth when cross-examined that Carlo, I knew what to say, that he was in fear for his safety, which he was. And lawfully, he defended himself. He was avoiding the trouble. And anyway, Carlo got off with it, and his dad thanked me for that. Not that I'd wish Alan Cowley to be in the state he was in, but I've heard Alan Cowley recovered as best he can from it, which, if he is good on it, but it just shows you the incidents that can happen in nightclubs. At certain times like that.
It can happen.
You probably went through a load, because
I remember having a fight in Redcar.
You sometimes you ended up probably having a lot more fights on the door than I did, because we were like based, even though we had a lot. You were like a travelling hit squad, weren't you? So you were working with John Black.
We're all in our face.
Based, and I might say there's trouble at Redcar, and you're in the car at Redcar. That, so
we're all over.
I mean, there was times when you were having 15, 16 fights a night.
It's just ridiculous, because you're going out, you were in like 20 odd clubs.
I know.
So you got to remember, some clubs had 500 people, and some had 1,000 people. So every night you were fighting, every single night. So, and we worked. I went on. I was 20. And in the stock, I was about 14, in my late 40s.
I know.
So you're talking like 27, 28 years or somewhere.
The thing is, what a lot of people won't remember then, Bri, because you haven't written this in all the books, and I think you should do another detailed book, because there's that much to write about, you know what I mean? You, at that particular time, were not involved in any drugs or taxing or anything at all. You weren't taking any drugs. You were clean living. You were healthy, dedicated trainer, not intoxicated. You were literally working the door for money to supplement your bodybuilding. I remember you.
I remember having a fight with one of the couple of first fights I did on the door, because I could fight. But I was thinking, how do you put them out? So I started getting the scolds where I showed grabbing, and where you put your hand on the neck and pick them up, and then I had to carry them down the stairs, and I'd walk. But that was the worst place on the rugby, because you had to go all the way down the stairs. It was round like that, wasn't it? It was never ending. You'd been knackered by the time. I just knock you on, and somebody drag you out in the end.
Well, obviously, you might have invented UFC without you knowing it. You might have been the best.
He said probably the odds moves were out before it even started. So.
Going back to the other doorway, even though we don't glorify
we had some, I tell you one funny one, just was it's in my head, but Frank Gaff and all, and when we used to work at Redcar, as a lot of people know, there's a race course there, and you get a lot of the Geordies, a lot of them are my friends, but they were down this town. It's either Newcastle or Sunderland, one of the two, sorry, Ernie and Stephen, but a lot of loud out there from up that way.
Quite a lot of them are,
so
quite a lot.
Come down and you get 52-seater. And you always get the one, don't you, on their causing trouble. So they're coming on the pubs, all drunk, they've been out all day. Come to Leo's first door. Started working there, so I'm stood there working, and I'm in the shed and everything, all the door and dicky boards, stuff I had the shed on. And this big built lad come, who's a karate expert. He went, if anyone can punch me in the stomach, and it was £1, I think, to get in. After I took it off to 11 o'clock or something, then it was on all about 1 in the morning. He said, if anyone can punch me in the stomach near me, can we get in free? So I'm going, go on. Anyway, get bright out, so I was on the corner of the stairs. So this lad's getting bang in the stomach, another one. He's doing this, like, tensed over, tensing his abs. Another one, bang in the stomach, hit him. Another one, about 6 people, I goes, he's bent over like this, like that, tensing his abs. So I went, boom, right on the chin, knocked him clean out. I said, I'm fucking there, though, didn't it? And knocked him sparkled. And everyone did, even the lads who were with him, off the bus were laughing, they were carrying him on the door. It was hilarious because everyone else was hitting him on the stomach, just going, go on, big fella, go on, hit me. And boom, right on the chin, sparked him. It was hilarious.
The psychology of it,
Me and Frankie, it was a story that went on for ages, off a laugh. But
going on about that choking, I've actually...
Bram's the best I know.
Bram's excellent. I've never ever choked anyone out.
I haven't. I wouldn't dare because I thought...
I'll show you.
How do you know when to let go? That's what I'm going to have. Bram. I thought we got 100 people watching. What brilliant.
Well, I said that
101 way
to Bram once. How do you know when you got...
In case you've killed them.
Let go.
Yeah,
and he
exactly.
Said, when they go unconscious... When they go unconscious, Bram said.
The same as before.
Bram is excellent at that. And he also... I've actually seen my daughter do it. Well, Heidi, she's just so feminine. It's unbelievable.
I've seen her on the pads.
I'm not bragging. She's a lovely, dedicated mother, same as my other daughters.
So I just say something before you think. I'm sorry to interrupt you. She's the other one. Look at her, you wouldn't think. But with her mouth and she can fight for fun, can't she? I've seen her with them kicks, kicking them pads.
I mean, if you look close up, there's sometimes now. She's got the features of a 16, 17-year-old girl. But she's very determined and she can be what you call silently effective and aggressive. And she knows how to choke out. They keep telling me, I'll show you how to choke people out, but I don't intend to now. No. I just go to work doing
little Lackey knows. He knows how to grab you like that, somewhere like that, and you pass out on him. And little Basil, Ray Man, my pal, he's a good kid. He came with me, we've had a few fights with Speedy, God rest his soul, Speedy. And,
but if
all these kids who are all died, it's a shame.
There's a lot
like Peter Rowe was a great lad, he got captured by cowards. Bill Kev Hour, all these people, lovely people.
Lots of deaths in the
Paddy Watson, Wagga Watson. Lovely people.
Yeah, that choking out situation. I wouldn't mind just being shown how to use it for, whatever. Maybe just in case they ever frequent certain places.
Certain people. We won't say
it. We ever go up to Greg's and and Stokesley or somewhere like that. I don't mind. But
talking about people punching for power, I should see her on the pads.
Oh, but
Oh, unbelievable! No power. Take your head clean off, I'm telling you. She's got that snap punch. And she went on and she took my hand out and I thought, you can't punch. She went on the bags and the pad with me and I thought, take your head off.
Heidi, as I say, she's excellent on the pads. But someone else, if she's looking at the moment, I haven't seen her for a while, a girl called Della. Do you know Della?
No.
Black girl. No. Della. Anyway, I've seen her on the pads. She works as a funeral director.
Right.
Now she's... I haven't seen her. Della, if you're there. But I just come across seeing her on the pads the other week, and she's had a couple of boxing matches.
Right.
But the difference, she's probably about 38. Right. She might be 40. But the difference on the pads, I watched her the other week. Excellent.
Yeah.
She was with Mark Down, and Mark Down's going out with a daughter.
Right.
And Mark had her on the pads, and I thought she was excellent.
I always say, if you can dance good, you can box. That's all it is to that. If you're moving and Bramman agrees with me.
John Met used to say that.
If you can dance, like no disco dance, we used to do all the moonwalk and everything, me and in the old days in the top deck, you remember spin you around and throw me over, throw on me shoulders. But if you can dance, can move your feet about, move about. That's all it is. Boxing is about dancing, really.
Well, I can't fucking dance. I can't dance. Well, I can go into Asda and get a 20 pence can of beans, what will really level you, you know. Going back to choking out, you know, another story. He might not be watching.
Do you think many people, Kevin, have choked out and killed them? I bet they have.
Yeah, absolutely.
I bet your Bramsler wouldn't ask for that.
Well, if you ask anyone who knows, saying you choke people out, how does it happen? Not many people will know, but it's pretty obvious. I mean, you've got your neck there, and in your neck you've got your cervical discs, and that, you know what I mean? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all them at the back of them. There's, you don't hear this mentioned much. There's 2 things called your basilar arteries, and you've got your vertebral arteries, and you've got your carotid arteries. So you've got like 6 arteries there, 3 pairs. You twist
starve the oxygen from the brain.
But then again, how far you from going out to die?
Bram's on now.
Right, Bram. How do you choke someone out without killing them? And this is not being funny.
Without killing them.
Yeah, how do you know you're not killing them?
Yeah, how do you know that you're not? Probably because the other states don't turn up.
Yeah.
He's got carotid artery. Right, so Bram, will you learn us how to choke people out?
Well done. People
just for self-defence.
Yeah, we just have a bit of fun with it.
Stops blood flow to go
to the brain.
To and from the brain.
Yeah, that's all
right,
it is.
So when do you know when
starvation of oxygen.
Ask him how long.
When they pass out, is it when they stop moving?
Stop breathing.
When they stop flitching about. It must be that, mustn't it? It's got to be.
I think the best way to,
come on, Bram.
You know, to I know the answer to that, Emma.
What is it?
I've been told Bram, and I don't medically know.
A couple of seconds too long there.
Right.
So Bram, what is
so you have to be an expert.
How do you know exactly when to stop? That's going out to Bram. And can you learn us, please?
And you're on the caution now.
Well, can you ask Bram if I can answer that and give it a serious answer to it?
Yeah.
When you say your question is...
what thing you talking about? They don't think we're all crackers,
when do you stop choking them out? When do you take the hold off? Well, if it was me and it was someone nasty, I would think the best time to take it off is if you check the pulse and it's gone and the blood pressure's done, then leave them the dead.
Yeah. Bram said ask Kev to ask about when Heidi did it.
Right.
Yeah, should I say who too or not?
He said they go limp and do something.
To the feed themselves.
Yeah. Well, I won't say who too, but Heidi was getting threatened once with a bottle of vodka to be hit on her head. And she kept saying, I don't want to react, I don't want to react. Cut long story short, she said, I'm going to have to react. And before she went to do this, she said, pre-warned, you're going to sleep. Put the chokehold on. And I was a foot away and going, she said, it's okay, just go to sleep,
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
And I fucking hell. Thank fuck I never shouted at them.
Near me. I'm glad I brought their stuff for Christmas and stuff.
And little Angelica, her daughter's going to be the same, and Susie, you know. Yeah. But they're doing it in a nice way.
When I used to go around, and we used to go in and bring them sweets and stuff, and bits of toy and stuff for them, birthdays and stuff, and always there, weren't we, for the stuff, and the kids all surrounded us. Winnie Banks, didn't they? We used to have a good laugh.
They idolised
the whole street used to come on, didn't it? Right, coming in, I'd sign a little piece of paper. There was no phones then, was there? Can we get our autograph for you? And
if they had no paper, they'd run up the betting shop and get the betting shops to sign that.
Yeah, with the little pens out the betting shop.
And they'd rip in the part, they'd get the duplicate and sign. Sell the other copy.
I'm so sure I've done yours 5 times today. Well, that happened often, didn't it?
And the books with the taxman, didn't you, around there?
Yeah. I remember this story. I don't know if I told you this one. We went in to sell the books, 2005 with Steve Richards, but we did the book. We did it in the book world. We did 600-700 books in one day.
You know.
Anyway, we goes in, this girl had bought a book.
Very good.
She had mental health issues, you could see. She got this book, she went, and then the suit on there, my sideburns were down a bit, and loads of gold on everything. And the hair was a bit curly and everything. I sat there. And I was all smart, and she went, can you sign that? I went, of course I can. It wasn't even my book. I signed it, so I signed it. And she went, I've got Tom Jones's autograph. And little John Costello was there. He went, it's not unusual. I was Tom Jones. I wish I could sing like him, but that's true. Little John just left it today. Best wishes to you, John. We love you to bits, mate. Another good kid.
Another quick funny story.
Rob Holloway. Hey, Rob. Thanks, my brother. AJ Films. Everyone give him a
Can you see all them names? I can't.
Yeah, no, I'm just a cop some of them off the top of my head. Just people that
to them,
just
man,
loads
yeah.
of nice.
Aki's coming on live online.
Oh, he knows all about Aki, yeah.
Right, so
Aki's very good at it.
Yeah, he's got people in
but you wouldn't think just to look at him, innit? You know.
No. He's working away till May, I think.
Aki.
This is live on the phone here, so Aki. Sorry guys, this is best person to
friend of ours, Aki. Yeah.
Aki, you can't swear because we're on live on the podcast. Right? How do you choke someone out without knowing that they're dead?
And I thought you were going to learn, mate.
So they're not hold on to you and they start shaking. That's it. So Brad, right? If you go over a couple of seconds too much, you could kill them. Right.
Yeah.
So 5 minutes will be safe to do them one or two. Some people I don't like.
Aki, can I just ask you a quick question? Just a quick one, Aki. When you're saying how long to keep the chokehold on, them nice steaks you've been doing, how long do you keep them on for? Both sides.
So, Aki, you've got to give us all a lesson in chokeholds, just because we're just interested in them, that's all.
He's a big starter,
just in case, it's always good to know, innit?
Right. Okay, mate, I'll see you soon. I will love you. Speak to you soon. Yeah, getting back to the show. Sorry about that, but lunacy there.
Another serious thing, obviously, about choking out. Denny Oil used to say to me, Kevin, it's spreading all over. They're going on about you slapping people and knocking them out.
Yeah.
I said, Denny, it's just a knack. Well, he said they're doing it up Newcastle everywhere. Yeah. But Denny was the first person, if he's watching, his wife Jill.
Yeah.
And honestly, the first person ever I seen on you to choke people out. And I'll tell you how he done it. He had an uncle called, I think it was Norman Hart.
Right.
And he was a professional wrestler, and he taught Denny at a young age how to do this Japanese stranglehold.
Right.
Now, Denny used to do it to restrain them up the curb.
Just to get them out.
He was choking people out left, right, and centre, but he didn't know it was a chokehold. He didn't know exactly what it was, or it became famous in UFC. So the best person I ever knew, and you could do it very good, was Denny Oil choking people out, didn't he?
Yeah. So what we're going to now?
Yeah, we would going back. We go off the strangleholds.
Yes.
We go off to.
I know we're all over the place here, guys.
Paul is saying try some arm locks and wrist locks.
So what?
Arm locks and wrist locks. He used to train. He said Bram's the best. He said.
Bram's
he used to train with Big Denty in Darlington.
Right.
This Saturday. Nice Saturday. On Paul.
Yeah. All right, son. You all right? Yeah. Any Bill told me that. He said you can't just do. Because I box, I should train on the weights, back chest on Monday, then back on Tuesday, then Wednesday, biceps, triceps, and I'd come home 3 times a week and I'd box and I'd do 6 2-minute rounds on the bag. Then I'd do another night. I'd do 4 3s, and then I'd do 5 1s, just straight off, no power. And that's who taught me was. Any brute, he said, well, every fight is going to be over in a couple of seconds or one punch.
Yeah, it could
you could be fighting like 15, and that happened to us when we'd be fighting 50, 30, 40 people in the street. Tony, John Black, Johnny Johns, Tony with all the wrecking crew and all that. Happened loads of times. We had two with them, but they're all good lads now. And
a lot of them are my friends, good lads, a lot of them are,
A lot of them have had the fights, but we're only young lads ourselves at the time, 24-year-old, 22, 23. We're all in that fighting. I mean, but we've all grew up now and learned it's not the way to be. And I remember hitting one lad in Spennymoor when John Black was there, and I caught him, and he hit him with this right uppercut. But having blonde there is the worst thing. His head split off, and it was all pouring. It was pouring because it was on a little bit of a bank. It was all pouring on this thing, and then I shit myself. I thought he was dead. And then another lad I hit.
It's a frightening thing, isn't it?
We went to York, me and Paul Cope. All right, Cope, if you're out there from Redcar, I got a job on the door, and it was called the Railway Keys, I think it was called. And I think it was something like 366 doors in there, more doors than there was Disney in the year. So we go to this club, and only the rugby teams had been Leeds and St Helens had been in, and they're all at York, and they were all fighting. Anyway, all 30 of them in this club, and it was a big lad. I hit him, knocked him out, and the police coming. I thought over the moon because the police coming. I said never. being happy because probably got killed. So the policeman said, "Oh, I'm going to have to make a statement." I said, "Just go to the back and get me caught, straight in the car and cooking back to back." They never went back over there. So yeah, that was just lucky sometimes. And just people I've known who've been friends who've been stabbed to death on the doors, people being shot on the doors. It's crazy, isn't it? But I don't think it's as bad now with the shootings as it used to be.
People get, misinformed. Oh, it's bad now, it's bad now, it's bad. There's a lot of things happening, but a lot of the deaths are between little gangs who won't harm the general public. They're just in the crack houses and he holds in this, so he's giving a dodgy 20 and they're stabbing each other, or there's the odd machete coming out.
That's right.
The majority of them are not fighters and never had a fight in their life, and they're not, and there's some of the people who can look after themselves, they're not within that environment. If they were, they'd tear these.
It's a lot harder when you used to.
It's a lot harder. And there's still a lot of hard
what it is
about now.
What
just don't want
It costs a lot of stuff like the side. Valley and Carl and people like that. We're going to have them on the show. They don't know yet, but these are both coming on. Great lads. Simon won the gold medal, didn't he? Come on, brilliant. And Carl, brilliant lad as well. He's a Christian with us, and we love them the best.
And they train really hard, as well.
He's doing well with his security and everything. He's a great lad. And took Tony Grange out, church leader, fantastic person. We love him and Jesus. Thank you for everything, putting us all together and helping us all. And no, great
it's compacted bind, isn't it? And
Christian, but it's just all. It's like God puts us all together to help each other, and that's what we try to do every day. We get up and try to do something nice, kind. We're doing this tonight. We're having a great night, and I hope you're having a great night over there. We're just telling you the stories how it was. We're not glorifying it. We changed my life around. Obviously, I've changed my life around for the better. I think helping people with my beautiful wife who's been supporting me through the last couple of years, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Going to bed, going to the toilet, looking back and seeing her in bed, thinking, God, you give me an angel, I'm so blessed. So my life's so blessed, and I've got is Kevin, people like him, Ozzy Bingham, and
everyone seems to be back together.
It's like you remember Greece. They all split up and they go at the end, all the gangs back together. It's like that with all us now, and little Terry Rich and all them types of kids are all good friends, and we're doing really good after especially with this. And that's why we're doing this, guys, just to show you. Little Terry Dick,
it's good everyone's back together and nearly everyone's back together and normal.
And we can't wait to get Big Eddie on. And you're coming on the tour. We'll have to kidnap you, and we'll get them
questions and answers for Eddie.
And we want Denny on as well. Good to get them
Denny's got some, and I've got some very, very, very funny stories about Denny in the future. Some really.
It's better Kirk now, isn't it? Mick used to it there.
Some really, really good funny ones. But going back to trouble, it's best if you can sort some trouble out nowadays by if someone who has been a bit of a lad in the town is going down saying, Howie, you stop and someone getting hurt and someone going to jail. And usually the trouble that they're having is for nothing.
It's what they're getting is when what you're saying is John Batt used to do allegedly. We'll go and see someone. If you're giving your opinion to someone, say, "How we, Kevin?"
I know.
Nobody pressing charges on you. I've done it to people. I've gone, look, you've had a fight. You've got beat. I've done it when I did with Dad now, and he stopped fighting. And John beat him, and he went and grassed John up. And I went and said, "So what you do? You can't make statements on people. You've lost a fight and you're top fight, and you're dropping the charges. All got something." But they never happened anyway, did it, John? But I'm saying no. You can't take me when they beat up their house. You can't go to the police, So
especially when they're that type.
You're on that side of the fence. You've got to stay on that side of the fence. You can't keep switching lanes.
And the other thing is intimidation. When you get it, and something that annoys me, and I still see it now. Even driving down the street, and I look out for it stupidly. It's just still in me. I'll be going down the street and. You might see a gang of kids, 18, 19, 20, older, and some man and woman of any age, old or you, walking past them, and you can see what they're going to do to them. And I can't help it, but I pull up and I stop and I wait to see if everything's all right. And if not, I'm risking getting the back, but I'm not bothered because I'll go over and help them, no matter what. But the best way is to give people a word in the ear. Some people get intimidation where they're getting the windows put in all the arm. There's a man and woman I know at Winnie Banks now, very good friends of mine. The lad was a very tough lad in his time, game for anything. Harry Lake, very good lad, and Sheila. And they've had, I don't know what the reasons are behind it. The windows put in a couple of times. And that needs to stop. I mean, the people there know they only need to ask, and they'll have a word with these other lads. But the other lads who were doing it, why do it? Why, you know, if you want to act the big man, the hard man, go and do something with someone who will challenge you back. You know what I mean?
Somebody who's not a victim. That's what they are. You know, getting bullied, knowing there's no comebacks as they're so old and things like that. So they're just off.
But the thing is, though, these people who are getting that intimidation, if they end up reacting and they do something daft and they stab these people, they'll get off with it as well. You know, if they're in fear for their lives.
You're entitled to defend yourself.
Of course you are, yeah.
Because somebody comes to your house and they're victim of something, they're entitled to pick something up if there's kind of people at your door. But been great on here tonight. Up to all the people have been on.
I've got much more to talk about, especially in your long. So we're going to try and do a little bit about the doorway, and then another one totally about, which would be good to tell stories about what happened in this crime, that crime, rather than just question and answers.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to do one, whether it's me and Bram do it with you, asking you.
We'll probably do that on the last one if you want. Yeah. That's me tagged. That's them tagged. I've got Emma though to back me up.
I want to do
and Scrappy.
I want to do one on. I say Richard. Richard's a topic, but it's not. It's a story which is going to become a book. And we've done little bits now with someone over the last 4 years, putting the book together. Whether we'll use him or not, I don't know. We might use someone else. But it's a story of adventure and accomplishment. And it's not just about Richard, it's about ID and things. It's not just about the Kilties or me or whatever. It could be about anyone, about someone who, what Richard had, he had a poster on his wall, and it was a Rocky poster. And he had it on when he was 10-year-old, and it says, his whole life was 1,000,000 to 1 shot. And I went up in 14 years before the world, he won the world championship, says, and so is yours, 1,000,000 to 1 shot, Rich. You can be world champion. But I'll go into that story.
And the thing is, he become the world champion, didn't he? So,
and I still worry about Rich to this day. I keep saying to him, and if he's watching now, you know, I mean, you very rarely get a chance. I'm that type of person, you know, everyone's on the phone and they say, see you later, I love you, there's nothing wrong with that. See you later, I love you. But I've seen them say it to everyone. I very rarely say it because I feel it to my kids and my friends. You know, our ID, our worship, I love ID, Jack, Luke, Richard, Bram, Zoe, Dovey, Bram, everyone, you know, you, I do, and you're there to protect and help people, but you don't have to show it all the time, you know. But I've got some great stories to tell on that side of it, and very sentimental ones as well. The other one, Melanie's just come out of hospital, and me and her have had our arguments and fights over the years.
Good you can talk, isn't it?
She's actually, we keeping her safe skin. We've got her at house and that, and you know, she's doing well at the moment. I'm saying that tomorrow, I might get a fucking smack in the mouth.
So.
That's amazing, isn't it?
So we're coming to an end just now. So last few words, Kevin, what do you think?
Well, a couple of things. There's more stories I do want to tell, and they can't be told in this one little episode. I think they're going to be ongoing for a long time, and then lots of different places.
Good.
I want to even do one with Bry in Wynyard Hall and places like that. There's so much we can do and get even better equipment to do.
Can we mention Daz Conley's? That's got you'd say because you're the best. She's the promoter.
Darren Conley has got the picture house in Redcar, and we're going to do an evening with Brian there sometime in July, August, maybe September, but we'll have the dates and we'll update you with that.
Brilliant.
Can we also say please subscribe to Fight 100?
Yes. Oh yes, I can't. I'd just like to thank David Ashton, my friend. He's a barrister. Lawyer, solicitor, what you want to call him. He's my friend, very good friend. I love the man to bits. His wife, his dogs, and both these dogs, both Rosie Lee and Hugo. And his business at all. Thank them from bottom of my heart for helping us and supporting us through these hard times we've been through. And we love you to bits. We can't wait to meet him when he comes over because he's in America at the minute. So and to Fight 100. Who's brought a new fight club out. It was going to be amazing. Joey Piles involved in it, and David's involved, so they've done that themselves. I think it's how many? 5 100 second rounds. No holding on. no referee. Just
You can use elbows.
You can use that's great for me, and your elbows in coming. So John Black, I'm coming back. You're gonna have to.
They're going to go for the knockout and
just for the knockout, and what they're gonna do, guys. They're gonna put we believe they're going to put microphones in the gloves, and so when you listen to it, it's like the 21st century boxing, so you can actually hear the punches.
And they're going to try and cut out like journeyman boxers who are mismatched and stuff like that. So it's all going to be like
where people
just
turn up for the money and not just going for the draw type of thing. So it's going to be go for the knockout. So it sounds really exciting. So
and YouTube, subscribe to the channel, Fight 100.
And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, the YouTube channel.
And Legit Pro Wrestling for Bram.
And don't forget, the books are still there. We've still got them here. The True Story of the Taxman, Brian Cockerill. We've also got Solitary Fitness, which I did with Charlie Bronson. I'll just show you before we go, which is the other book. Solitary Fitness, Charlie Bronson, brilliant man. We love him. We hope he gets out and parole soon. And we also got the Taxman of Teesside, Brian Cockerill, Lee Duffy, the Taxman of Teesside. As a lot of these are bought already. That's still there. Signed copies can be ordered off our Facebook page, the Taxman.
And subscribe to AJ Reviews Films.
Yes, and AJ, thank you for doing all the.
You can't beat reading these books, you know, because you know when people read on a computer, it's not the same as reading a book.
No.
And a book where you can get right into it.
Yeah.
I mean, early on when Bri just said there about he appreciates how lucky he is to be in bed and you go to the toilet and come back and look at you in bed and say how lucky you are. Well, I'm the same. I'm so lucky. I go to the toilet during the night, come and I look in the bed and there's no one there. Just me. Just me.
Oh, did you see that? Kevin, I must be in the kitchen.
No, but this is the whole world. Come here, everyone.
Yeah,
over here.
That's great. And next week I'm going to give you all these who can't.
Kevin, go on, you ask, go on.
All these who can't sleep.
Yeah.
And you can't get to sleep, which I can't. I don't mind. I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm a night owl. I'm like a vampire. I just lay there and talk to myself. Yeah. But I'll teach you a technique. Out if you can't sleep, how to sleep with one eye open.
Right.
Yeah.
But with schizophrenia, you're never alone.
Thanks so
much. Just like to say thanks everyone.
Don't forget late nights tomorrow with the clocks.
And we'll see you again next week on the same back channel.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good night. God bless.
Good night.